Episode 60. Aunt Suzanne cheats with Mr. Carson? At that moment, Jade thought that Dario was more handsome than ever. She didn't know if agreeing to marrying him was right or wrong, but as she cooked in the kitchen, she felt good and smelled the fragrance of the food. She clearly felt at home in their new place, and it made her happy that she had a man waiting for her to have his dinner with. She felt really great. She waited at Dario's door for a while. Seeing that he didn't speak again, she reminded him softly from outside the door, "Dinner is ready. Come and eat." Dario turned off the computer and looked at Jade at the door. He knew that she'd been watching him from the door. He didn't expect her to be so considerate. "Come in." The two words were forceful, but there was also a trace of gentleness that Jade couldn't resist. Jade thought for a while and then quickly walked out. Dario's eyes filled with disappointment and the smile on his face became stiff. But then a trace of surprise came into his eyes. "Dario, you've been talking for so long. Are you thirsty? Have a drink of water." Dario looked at the cup of hot water in front of him and felt a surge of warmth in his heart. All these years, the secretary of his company had mostly given him coffee. He had tried all kinds of coffee, but he had never been given a simple cup of water with love by anyone. This was the most quenching and the most suitable drink for him. Dario took the cup and placed it on the table. Then he immediately pulled Jade's hand and let her sit on a chair with him. "I know of another way to quench my thirst," a deep and charming voice said in her ear. "Oh, what is that?" "Do you want to know?" "I can tell you right now." Jade could clearly feel his warm lips rubbing against her ear. A stimulating feeling immediately spread throughout her entire body. "No, I don't want to know." Jade smiled and jumped up in a hurry and rushed out recklessly, leaving Dario frowning in the study room. Dario wondered if she was really that embarrassed of him. Or was he really too much? Jade covered her blushing face. Her heart could not calm down for a long time. She quickly patted her face and told herself not to think too much. She took a deep breath and told herself to calm down. Then she washed 2 new bowls. Just as she finished filling the first bowl, a pair of slender and beautiful hands took it from her hands. Jade made tomato soup, pork ribs, fish sautéed with oil and onions, and roasted eggplant. Dario took a look. Although they were all ordinary dishes, they looked very appetizing, and they tasted excellent. He didn't expect his little wife to cook so well. It seemed that he would be eating a lot of delicious food in the future. "I only know how to cook these dishes. I hope you don't dislike them." Jade lowered her head in embarrassment. She felt that Dario should only eat high-quality food. She was worried that he would not be used to her cooking, but Dario didn't show any signs of dissatisfaction. He ate very happily. She clenched her fork because she was very nervous about Dario's reaction. Seeing that he did not speak, she couldn't help but ask, "Dario, is the food any good?" "No, it's all very delicious." Dario looked up and saw nervousness on her face. He couldn't help but smile. "That's good." Jade let out a sigh of relief and started to eat. "You care what I think of you?" "Yes." "That means that you already have me in your heart." "Dario, don't talk while you're eating." "I didn't lie to you. It's really delicious. I'll have another bowl." Dario handed the empty bowl to her as he asked for another. He had always paid attention to his health and never overate, but that day, he couldn't help it. "All right." Jade immediately let out a happy smile and skipped away to get more food. She usually only ate the meals she prepared alone, so she never knew what others would think of her cooking. But that day, someone finally admired her cooking. "Dario, I'm glad that you like it. If there's anything you want to eat in the future, just let me know, and I'll try my best to make it for you. If it's something I don't know, I will learn how to cook it," Jade said, as she handed him another full bowl. Dario, who was holding his fork, was startled. He felt as if his heart missed a beat. After the meal, Jade was about to wash the dishes when Dario suddenly walked behind her and said gently, "Go and rest. I'll wash the dishes." Jade's eyes widened. She almost thought she heard him wrong. "What? Dario, do you know how to wash dishes?" "No." "Then let me do it." But before Jade could do anything, Dario had already pushed her to the side and started to wash the dishes. It didn't look like it was his first time washing the dishes. He looked like he knew what he was doing. She began to suspect that he was lying to her. "Don't look anymore. Go and rest. Otherwise, I'll push you out of the kitchen," Dario said with a straight face. Jade immediately ran out of the kitchen, since she knew that he would really push her out. Jade turned on the TV because she was bored. She didn't want to see explosive news the moment she turned it on. The person the news focused on was someone she knew. It was her aunt, Suzanne Winslet. The general content with the headline was that Suzanne Winslet seduced Victor Carson. The news read that Suzanne dropped in to meet Mr. Victor Carson in sexy attire and drugged him. The high dose of the drug that she gave him almost destroyed his penis. However, the media suspected that he might have been given a fake drug. The reporters also reminded the audience to identify the brand of the drugs bought, alerting people from buying fake drugs. They added that not checking the drugs could have very bad consequences. Anyone could end up in the hospital, just like Mr. Victor Carson. What was even more explosive were the photographs. One of those was a picture of Mr. Victor Carson holding his penis in pain in his room. He even had his pants off. It was obvious that he wanted to have sex with someone, but for some reason, it had become twisted. The other photo was of Suzanne Winslet soaking wet in the lobby. Her hot pink underwear could easily be seen because of the clear water. It was said that it was because Mr. Victor Carson's wife had come to cause trouble. Everyone thought that she was the one who splashed the water. These two people appeared in two different places. Originally, there was no connection between them, but the news brought them together. Jade knew that it was impossible that they were linked. However, the reporter acted like it was certain that they were linked together. There was also a picture of Mr. Victor Carson and Suzanne Winslet together at the Scoville Club. This would make it easier for people to misunderstand. Jade looked carefully and found that it was actually the picture of Suzanne that appeared in the Scoville Club that day. But she didn't know that such a thing happened. Could it be that it happened after she left? Jade was very puzzled. Once the news was released, the Carson family and Winslet family were finished. Everyone knew that John Winslet had an affair with someone else's wife, and that Mr. Victor Carson was not good in that aspect. He still had to take medicine. This was really too funny.